Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This, if you're unaware, is a first generation Corvair. Now, this little one has some kookiness, like it doesn't have an interior. See? This is also a 1/43rd scale model that's built by Tootsie Toy. Well, it was built by Tootsie Toy. Let's get started. Obviously, the pegs have to come out before we do anything else. While I grind away on these very difficult pegs, I'm going to tell you to go over to Midnight Auto Repair and subscribe. Josh could really use the help, and it's not bad to show your support. Looks like I'm going to need a little more oomph. I don't want to dig too far into the frame on this, so I'm going to use a screwdriver to separate the frame from the body. And there we go. It looks like the suspension collapsed on this thing. I wonder if fixing the suspension will just be a matter of putting the axle back in. You see, I can get the axles back in under the spring and it'll roll, but that back axle just does not want to stay under the spring. I'll get the spring out of there and try to formulate a plan as far as what to do. First things first though, if I flip the spring over, maybe it'll apply a little more pressure to the axle. Alright, watch right here. You'll see that when I apply more pressure to it, it still just pops right out. I'm going to have to figure this out. Maybe I can glue the spring down to where the axle meets the frame. Alright, that's enough tinkering with this 60-year-old toy. Let's get it into the goo. I think I'm a little low on goo. There we go. I'm also really not happy with these wheels. I think I'm going to change those out for something more appropriate. Now I'll clean off the goo and what's left of the paint, then I'll get it polished up. This water might be a little warm. Well, that's the body cleaned up. Let's get the rest of the parts rinsed off and then we'll make everything shiny. In the meantime, though, while everything's drying, I'm going to head over to Tinkercad and create a bathtub so that I can start sizing the interior. Of course, I forgot to record myself polishing it, so let's get it into primer. As soon as the primer's dry, I'm going to hand it straight over to Foggy so that she can get on the details. The base color of the car is white anyway, so there's no real reason to paint it again. Once she's done doing what she does best, I'm just going to clear coat everything anyway. Yeah, I'd say that's probably one of her most realistic paint jobs to date. Good job, Foggy. Now, how do you size an interior when you don't know the exact size of the interior because you can't get a proper measurement? Well, my answer was to print several bathtubs of increasing size and do a process of elimination. Now, this one looks pretty good. The luggage rack meets with the rear peg, and it's just about the right height, so let's maybe start trying to do this interior. In retrospect, I probably just could have built off of the bathtub that I had already created, but hindsight's always 20/20. Alright, I'll send this off to the printer, but let's see what we can do about those wheels. Now, I'd like to send a big shout out to Big Mike's Hoopty Barn. Mike, thank you so much for sending these. I am really excited about this, and these white walls right here look like they'll be just about perfect for the car. Let's get them out of there and get them mounted on the axles. One thing you'll probably notice is that these tires are significantly wider than the ones that came on the car originally. I'll probably have to tub both the front and the back wheel wells. That won't be a major problem though. To make enough room, all I've got to do is a little bit of grinding on the frame. In the meantime though, I have to cut the axle short enough so that the wheels will fit under the body. I hope you don't mind the creative liberty we took with the wheels there, Josh. I just think that the white walls look way better on this car. And, well, they're era appropriate. Yeah, I was right. If I want the wheels to turn, I'm going to have to shave off a little bit of the frame. Well, there's no time like the present. There we go. Now let's get these put back in and test fit them. Make sure that everything works. Hot dog, look at that. It's a roller. Now, originally, this glass used to sit directly on the frame. It used these tabs right here. Since I've created an interior that the glass is going to sit on, that tab is no longer required. It'll have to go. I'm going to do one quick test fitting to make sure that it all fits together without the interior. Man, that looks good. All right, so all we're waiting on now is Foggy to finish up painting the interior. Let's get through one final test fitting just to be sure. Man, just look at that interior. I'm betting Foggy's proud of that one. Something that I hadn't really considered since the beginning was that there was going to be a little extra height caused by the spring. That's not a major worry. I'll just have to shave out a little bit of the floorboard. Here's a note to Tootsie Toy of the past. Don't make your car so hard to put together. Yeah, I was right. Those glass tabs are definitely going to have to come out. They make the interior way too hard to put back in. Aside from having to put in what is basically the equivalent of a transmission tunnel, can you see anything else wrong? How about that blue that's sticking out to the wheel well? I'll have to trim that a little bit, but what do you say we get onto the glamour shots?